You know, if director Tyler Wayne actually came up to me and punched me in the gut, it would actually be less painful than the opening of his movie, Goodbye Butterfly. Welcome to the Film Threat Podcast. I am Chris Gore. I am pleased to be joined today by director Tyler Wayne, whose movie Goodbye Butterfly. Look, I'm not BSing when I tell you that the opening of your film was like being punched in the gut. And like I say, actually physically being punched in the gut would be less painful than the opening of your film. The first few minutes is this incredibly delightful relationship of a father to a daughter, just incredibly charming. You know, I've been fortunate enough to experience moments like that with my daughter, sitting with her, you know, talking cute to each other and whatnot. And then we learn of, and this is just happens in the first 5 minutes, just she's brutally murdered. And it's all about how, and then it turns into this incredible thriller where that keeps us guessing. Tyler, why did you do this to me? And what led to making this really taut thriller? That's just it's one of those things that it's just a few actors, and the tension is just palpable once things really get going. You know, in the second act. But what really led to this?
Well, that's exactly it. That's why we only have a few actors. What led to it actually was just limitations. You end up, we were supposed to do this thing with this other company that fell through. And then we were stuck with about a third of the budget that we were going to have to put into something else. So I just went back to the drawing board and I wrote something around basically the resources that we had. So you start with the concept of like, okay, we're going to have to do this thing, basically in a room, few people, like, how do we make that interesting? And so you kind of go from there. You're like, well, what if these two guys are trying to kill this one guy? That's interesting. And it's like, well, if they're just trying to kill him, it'd be a short film. They just kill him. And then, 5 minutes, it's over. It's like, well, so they can't kill him. Why can't they kill him? And you just kind of keep working from that and building layers and layers and layers until you have something that you hope, kind of works.
Well, I mean, it does. I mean, once you really, I mean, first of all, you set up the world, keeps you guessing. We really don't know. I mean, I'm questioning myself, and also your lead character is, questioning himself.
Yeah.
Right. Throughout. It really was this incredible tension, and really asks moral questions as well. I think really the moral questions are also at the heart of this, because I just think it's my greatest fear if anything happened to either of my kids.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I fear in life. I don't fear, I'm not afraid of whatever, but something happens to my kids, that is the one thing that would push me over the edge.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that so many parents relate to that. So tell me about the casting. You really have a remarkable cast as well.
Yeah. We got really lucky with all of them, with Andy Lauer, with Adam Donchik, Marie Burke, Jennifer Adams, but really the hardest role to cast was certainly the little girl, Addison Ross. And, because you're at the end of the day, you're counting on a 5-year-old to open your movie. And you never really quite know how that's going to go. So we looked at a lot of little girls. We finally found Addison. I met with her. We hit it off, like when I was talking to her. And you just kind of got to roll the dice and trust your instincts and go, yeah, I think this is going to work. But, you never really know until you get on set and do it. And yeah, she just killed it. I think I can't wait to see what she does next.
Well, you're absolutely right. Because what do they say? Kids and animals are the things that
Yeah.
the most difficult things for directors to work with. And
Both of them. I have both of them in my first movie.
right.
I have
Yeah.
a dog too.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's right. So, but she really, that from that opening scene, I mean, it's, and you spend time. It's not like this quick one-off. There's time spent. So I actually, first of all, I don't like to read the descriptions of movies before I see them, you know,
Mhm.
or even see the trailers for indie films. I think with mainstream movies, we're kind of like inundated, so we kind of know what we're getting, right? Like fast food. But for an indie movie, the thing that I really delight in is not knowing anything. So I thought, oh, I have no idea what this is about. Even I didn't even know the genre, right? So it really was a gut punch, that opening. Um, just but there's also like later on, I don't want to spoil anything in the second half of the film, but there's clearly there has to be some stunt work involved, otherwise I'm certain that people got hurt.
Nobody got hurt. We were we were very fortunate, and like I said, it's one of those things as you're writing it, you've got to have some action bits and stuff, but you're still writing around the limitations of what you or what you hypothetically think you might be able to do on something of this scale. So I'm trying to write stuff that I think is going to work and be exciting, but at the same time that we're going to be able to do. And the stunt work, it's sometimes some of the stuff that you don't even think is going to be stunt work actually ends up being involved. Like a guy getting knocked over on a chair is actually stunt work, and the whole time you have our stunt coordinator Paula Brody was there making sure that nobody got hurt. And but yeah, it's tough on a movie of this scale to try to create sequences that hopefully will be exciting, still working within the limitations of what you're going to be able to do. I mean, obviously you're not going to be able to write a car chase or an explosion or anything like that,
But I trust that if you did a car chase or an explosion, no one would get hurt. So
we'll see. I may be working on something now that may have a couple car chases or two. You don't know how it works until you get there and you have your stunt people and kind of telling you how this is going to work. And Jason Barber, our key grip, was also very instrumental in creating a very safe set. And sometimes he'd just be like, yeah, nobody can go beyond this point right here. It's not safe here or whatever. So you're really relying on your crew to kind of walk you through how it's going to work. And then, Jose, our cinematographer, and then you as the director just kind of have to, listen to everybody and say, this is what we can do. And then you have to kind of go, okay, well, here's how we'll make it work.
And the movie is, I mean, as we're speaking, the movie is out in release, currently available on video on demand. It's also been hugely successful. It was, I'm not sure exactly which category, and your publicist, Annie Jeeves, who's a friend of mine, will probably be able to tell me that it was it number one on iTunes, or was like number one in a certain category? Like it's been trending. It's been trending, so it's like your movie has blown up, right?
Yeah, I mean, we debuted our first weekend as the number one indie film on iTunes, and that was just like, I was like, okay, like we were just kind of hoping like we'd get some kind of traction, but that was pretty amazing. And you guys, yourself, your lead critic Alan Ng over at Film Threat, you guys have been incredible in terms of supporting this film. So I just want to thank you so much for that, because we really, small films like ours, you really need all the help you can get and people spreading the word and saying positive things about it. But yeah, hopefully we're just trying to keep it going, and hopefully, people will tune in and watch it and enjoy it and have the same reaction as you did.
Well, it's first of all, we only support films we like. We see a lot of indie movies. They're not all great. I think, and I had a conversation with Alan Ng, who wrote that review, and we were both talking about like, oh, that movie, like we all talk about the opening and then like where it goes, which I don't want to ruin for the audience. I just want to highly recommend that you check out Goodbye Butterfly. And I have to ask, like, what's next for you? What are you working on? You have to be working. I mean, just as a showcase for a director, you really knocked it out of the park in terms of all the beats that, you know, you look to sort of take on a project that's at another level of bigger budget and whatnot. So can you clue us in on exactly what you might be working on next?
Sure, absolutely. And thank you so much for saying that. But yeah, so right now I'm actually working on a new script. We talked about the car chases before, but it's basically about a teenage girl who finds herself in a situation where she ends up having to navigate the economics of our justice system. So I don't really want to say too much more than that. But yeah, this is something I'm working on now. The script is coming along. I'm going to try to take my time with this one a little bit more. There's a lot more involved. Whereas Goodbye Butterfly was like a freight train. It was like, because we were under the gun, we were, you know, the company that invested in us was like expecting something. This other company had pulled out. So like I got the idea in April, started writing it, and by early August had a production draft. We were in pre-production in October, shooting in December. And I'm still like, I haven't quite wrapped my head around any of it yet. Now we're promoting it. So I want to try to take a little bit more time with this next script. And, you know, I'm also writing it hopefully without the limitations that we had with Goodbye Butterfly, where it's like, you can't do that, you can't do that. So it's like, hopefully we'll be able to do some more things this time around.
Well, I wouldn't describe Goodbye Butterfly as having limitations. It felt like such this amazing, I mean, you put yourself in that scenario. You know, what if I experienced something as horrifying as this? How would I react? I mean, I identify with your lead and the pain that he was experiencing. I feel like it's very human. So I think I don't see them as limitations. I feel like you really used, you know, the space of the story and the characters to tell something remarkable and unique. And I happen to know that the trailer, which is on our YouTube channel, has blown up huge. It's one of our biggest trailers in the past few months. So thank you for allowing us to present that on our platform. So check out the trailer if you have not seen it on the Film Threat YouTube channel for Goodbye Butterfly. Tyler Wayne, congratulations. Please come back when your next movie is out, because really, I feel like I interview a lot of filmmakers. You are one to watch. So congratulations again, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chris.